Hello Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video, this time featuring a Naya Legends deck. So this deck has been doing the rounds in the last week or two maybe, and I was really excited to play it, and it is very powerful. There won't be any wrap up today just because my MTG assistant decided not to record any of the matches, so I don't know the win rate, but I think it's probably between 60 and 70%. Won a couple, then lost like 3 or 4 in a row, but I don't think I've lost one since, and I've played quite a few games. So what is the deck? So it actually revolves around a card that is not new to Bloomburrow, and he joins up. So he joins up is from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It's a 4-mana legendary enchantment. It says when it enters, deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And if a triggered ability of a legendary creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So this is any legendary creature trigger, ETB, attack, anything like that. So essentially our deck is made up of legendary creatures, and we do have a few new ones from Bloomburrow to round out the deck, and these are ones that really made this deck playable. So first up, and actually I think the most important card, apart from maybe A joins up, but I think it might even be more important than that, is Muerra Trash Tactician. Muerra is a 3-mana of 2/4. Says at the beginning of your main phase, add red or green for each raccoon you control. Muerra is the only raccoon we have in a deck, so we'll be adding red or green, just 1 red or green, or 2 if we have any joins up. But then it says whenever you expend 4, you gain 3 life, and whenever you expend 8, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Till the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Expend is a new mechanic in Bloomburrow. Basically means when you spend that amount of mana, the effect happens. So when we spend 4 mana, doesn't have to be at once, just in a turn we gain 3 life. Then when we spend 8 mana, we exile the top 2 cards of our library. It only happens once. When you expend 8, you don't get the 4/1 twice. You just get it once, basically. And this is why it makes it so important, because it's ramp and it's stabilization. Getting 3 life whenever you play a 4-mana card, which a lot of our cards are, is fantastic. And obviously it's a triggered ability, so it will be doubled up if we have an Annie joins up out. We also have Dragonhawk, Fate's Tempest, which is a 5-mana 5/5 flyer. And it says whenever Dragonhawk ETBs or attacks, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creature control with power 4 or greater. You may place those cards into your next end step. At the beginning of your next end step, Dragonhawk deals 2 damage to each opponent for each of those cards that's still exiled. So by itself, it comes down and you exile 1 card, which you can play if you can. And if you can't, it will deal 2 damage to your opponent. Obviously, with Annie joins up, we'll get 2 cards, but if we have, say, a Roxanne or a Beza or an Atali out, we'll draw exile extra cards. What is interesting is the exiling the X cards of your library, and that at the end of the beginning of the end step it deals 2 damage, is the same triggered ability. So it's the 2 damage is not doubled up again. So let's say we only have Dragonhawk and we've got an Annie joins up, we will exile X cards twice, so it'll be 1, and then because it's part of the same triggered ability, at our end step, assuming we don't play any, we will do 2 damage twice, 1 for each card. 2 damage for each card. There's not a separate triggered ability for that damage, so that won't be doubled up. So there's something to be aware of. I did wonder how it would work, and then having read it, I realised it is all 1 ability. Final new card from Bloomburrow is Beza, the Bounding Spirit. I did play some games without Beza, but I put it in because it's a great way to stabilise. One of the issues with this deck, and I'll touch on it a bit more in a bit, is it is quite slow, so we need cards which can stabilise. So Beza is a 4-mana 4/5, which is a great body anyway. And then basically, if you ever played with cards before with a recent rotation, there was a card from, I think, Midnight Hunt called Sunset Reverie, and this is basically Sunset Reverie on a big stick. When it enters, if an opponent has more lands with us, we create a treasure token. If an opponent has more life than us, we gain 4 life. If an opponent has more creatures than us, we create 2 1/1 blue fish tokens. And if an opponent has more cards in hand than us, we draw a card. Each of those are individual triggered abilities, so we will get those abilities, those triggers twice if we have Annie joins up, and obviously if we meet those criteria. So this is great to get out if we've got less life than our opponent, which is quite likely, and we'll gain 4 life, maybe doubled up to Annie joins up. If we've got a Muerra out, we'll gain 3 or 6 from that, just from Beza as well. And then there's all other value we can get. Now, rounding out our legendary creatures, we've got two copies of Atali. Everyone knows the tally. 7 mana, 7/7 trample. When it ETBs, exile cards from the top of each player's library into exile non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among the non-land cards exile this way without paying the mana cost. Obviously, we can get that too if Annie joins up. And then Roxanne, Starfall, Savant, which I think is actually probably the second most important card, if I'm not counting Annie joins up. It says when it enters or attacks, create a tapped colorless artifact token named Meteorite, which has when Meteorite ATBs, it deals 2 damage to any target, and you can tap it to add 1 mana of any colour. But she also has whenever you tap an artifact token for mana, add 1 mana of any type that artifact token produced. And one of the reasons why she's so good is because she's removal and she is ramp. Muerra is ramp and stabilisation. Roxanne is removal as ramp. And essentially our best curve is basically turn 3 Muerra, turn 4 Roxanne, turn 5 Etali, and that doesn't even count Annie joins up. You know, if we ever take a turn off to play Annie joins up, that's fine. But that is a great 3, 4, 5 ramp. Suddenly we've got 3 legendary creatures. Etali's ripping through both our libraries. So rounding out the deck, we do have one more legendary creature from Allied's Thunder Induction, Fortune Loyal Steed. When it ETBs, you scry 2, and then whenever it attacks while saddled, at end of combat, exile it and up to 1 creature that saddled it, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So a great way to rebuy any of our ETBs, such as Etali or Roxanne or Dragonhawk or, Beza. Muerra doesn't have an ETB. And you would also rebuy that Scry 2. The only issue is a 2/4 is not the best attacker, and in this meta you come up against a lot of like Preachers of a Dark Season, which have Death Touch, so you might not be able to attack, but if you can, this is a great way to get extra value. And the rest of our deck is removal. Torture Tower, spot removal, and it also exiles, so it means it's really good against Hearth-Eye Hero and Cacophony Stamp because they don't die, so we don't get their die triggers. Get Lost. I did try putting in Scrap Shooter, I think it's called. It's a new card from Bloomburrow. It's a 3 mana Raccoon. It's a 3 mana 4/4. When it has reach, when it ETBs, you can gift your opponent a card if you do destroy target artifact and charm. I put this in for things like temporary lockdown wouldn't really affect our deck, but I did lose against the Innkeeper's Talent Vraska combo, and I put that in, Scrap Shooter in, to deal with troublesome enchantments. And also, because it's 4 power, it would trigger Dragonhawk an extra time, and because it's Raccoon, it trigger Muerra, but it's not legendary, and we want all our creatures to be legendary. So I then put Get Lost back in, because you can do with any non-land, well, not any non-land permanent, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. 4 copies of Lightning Helix for damage and life gain, and then 3 copies of Brotherhood's End to act as a board wipe against some of the smaller aggro decks, and sometimes we're up against artifact decks to destroy those instead. Obviously, it will take out treasure tokens created by Beza or meteorite tokens created by Roxanne, but sometimes that is a worthy payoff. Mana base is a bit of a hodgepodge. We don't have any tri-lands in Standard anymore. So plains, mountains, then a lot of... we've got 1 each of the Savant lands, Commercial District and Elegant Parlour, 2 Copperline Gorge, 2 Carpoosion Forest, 2 Restless Ridgeline. I'd probably take these out. They do enter tap, which can be a slight issue, and I don't think I ever found myself needing to activate it, turn it into a dinosaur. So I'll probably just put in another basic forest and maybe add in some more Inspiring Vantages or Copperline Gorges. Then 4 Fable Passage, a couple of brushlands. So we do have a lot of pain lands, which is why the life gain from Muerra and Beza are really important as well. So it is a powerful deck. It is a slow deck. And one of the issues with a lot of slow decks is, one, if you're not playing against aggro and it's taking you until turn 3 or 4 to do anything, you're going to be in real bad trouble. Obviously, if we do play against aggro, we've got a lot of removal. But because we are slow, it is susceptible to removal. You know, if you turn 3 Muerra and go, well, turn 4 I can play Roxanne, but then they kill Muerra and suddenly you're 2 turns away from playing Roxanne and, you know, you need the land. That is the biggest issue with the deck, I think. But obviously... that is just an issue with a lot of decks. But it's a very, very powerful deck when it gets going. I really enjoyed playing it. So I said, I think the win rate's between 6 and 7% around there. We started off good, then went for a bit of a rut. But then I think I've won like 5 or 6 in a row. And I have played a lot more than that as well. So hope you all enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the gameplay. we're on the draw with an okay hand. We ramp with Muerra, and then we can surveil with Elegant Parlour. So we'd like an untapped land, because at the moment Fabled Passage comes into play tapped. But I suppose we can Fabled Passage turn 1, Elegant Parlour turn 2, then Copperline Gorge turn 3, play Muerra. Don't have any removal, so there's a chance we get run over. But then once we get Muerra down, we can start gaining life. And obviously Roxanne can take out some creatures, hopefully. And Dragonhawk's a good top ender. So our opponent's here, that is. It doesn't look like they are. Are they doing the roping to see if we quit? Oh, let's see what they do. Oh, they've kept the hand. Yeah, so they are there. Shocking. We will fetch Mountain. I imagine they take Torch the Tower. I'll keep a Lightning Helix. I'm going to play out a Muerra. What we could have done is Lightning Helixed the Bat, Torch the Tower, the Bronco, and kind of just wipe their board. But if we draw a land, we can Roxanne, take out their Bat, assuming that Tactition doesn't get removed. Which against Golgari is obviously never a guarantee. Well, we draw a land, but it's an untapped one. Sorry, it's a tapped one, so... So I think, yeah, we do just take out the Bat. Take out their Bronco. And next turn, we can Dragonhawk. So you would quite like an Annie joins up. Or maybe we Roxanne to just carry on ramping. There's another Preacher. We gain 3. And next turn, we can Atali, assuming Roxanne doesn't get removed. We could Atali if Roxanne does get removed, and we draw an untapped land. Do they have a board wipe? They are hovering over a lot of things. So we can't Atali. So I guess we'll just have a Dragonhawk then. Gain 3 more life. Hopefully we draw a land. We will see 2 cards. We do have another one, but we still get to see the cards. Oh, we only see 1 now. That's a shame. I'll hold back for now. Would really like an Annie joins up so we can take out one of their preachers and double up all our triggers. Wow. Oh, we can just Atali. See what we hit. We will Fortune and Deep Cavern Bat. See what the last card in their hand is. Fair enough. It's not the end of the world. Not our card either. So Sky 2, I want the Annie joins up. And I'll put the Roxanne to the bottom. Their amount of tokens is kind of annoying. But this is where we can have a bit of fun. Let's take out their throwback. And then we will saddle Atali. Actually, no, I'm going to saddle Roxanne. And swing in with Roxanne and Fortune. Sorry, Atali and Fortune. They might quadruple block Fortune, which is fine. We won't get the other Atali trigger. They do obviously have the cottage. They might block Atali a lot as well. So now we get 2 meteors. I'll just take out their 2 1/1s. And next turn we can Dragonhawk. See a fair few cards. Attack with Roxanne. Take out one of their preachers. They do draw 3 cards. Probably should have taken out one of their creatures instead. Oh, that's annoying. They get to see Dragonhawk, but we do get to bring it back, basically. We'll do this now, gain a bit of life. Gain 6 more, back up to 20. That's a bit annoying. I'm going to play this just so we get the exile triggers. I'll keep the original. Play out one of the lands for exiled with Muerra. And swing in for 2. Hit them for 4. Well, this is where we can start having it really start showing off. Let's, yeah. We would have Anid, taken out one of their creatures, attacked with our Dragonhawk, start exiling more cards, and then, you know, carried on pinging our opponent. So we're on the draw with a decent hand. Bit slow, but we do have removal, and then Annie joins up into Roxanne. Is a great little combo. So I think we keep this, play Ridline turn 1. Unless they play something that needs taken out. I'm fine with the Novice Inspector. Orzhov with a Novice Inspector. Right. I'm going to discard the Atali. Well, there's another Annie joins up. An odd Orzhov discard deck. Might as well. Really like 5th land. They seem to be having land issues. Well, there is the 5th land. We'll play out Annie joins up. Obviously now we can't target the Novice Inspector because it's got walled. But then next turn we can Roxanne, get 2 treasures, meteorites, go face. They might want us to use some of those clue tokens to find a land. Well, let's go to planes, since there's the only thing we can get. We'll drop Roxanne. We'll take out one of their Novice Inspectors and go face. They found their 3rd land. So they're the Nurturing Pixie style deck. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 7. So we can't quite Dragonhawk and Fortune. And it's got walled 2, so I can't even torch the tower. It's interesting, Annie joins up doesn't double the last part of Dragonhawk's trigger. If they causes a sacrifice Dragonhawk or remove it, I'm going to have to take out their Novice Inspector with Annie joins up. And pay for the various walled. Which I can do. Well, I'll actually just do this. Does get rid of our meteorite. No. No, I'll keep a Lightning Helix. Just for removal and life. Hopefully we don't have another. Yeah, that's going to put us down to 5. Well. They are drawing 2. This game's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. They put it on the Pixie. That was a good draw. Oh, I should have saddled. That was a whoopsie, but hopefully shouldn't be an issue. Should have saddled Fortune. Yeah, game over. There's a bit of reunion. Little bit too late. Yeah, if I'd saddled the Fortune with Roxanne, I would have got 2 more meteorite tokens and could have ended the game last turn. We're on the draw, needing a 3rd land, but Lightning Helix and Lightning Helix and then Brotherhood's End can hopefully stabilise us. We'll get a mountain with our Fabled Passage. There's a 3rd land. But we do need 2 red. Do they have the Deep Cavern Bat? They do have the Deep Cavern Bat. They always have the Deep Cavern Bat. They take Lightning Helix. They do not take Lightning Helix. I imagine they have another one. But now we have 2 Lightning Helixes, and next turn we can Muerra. Oh, they didn't have another one. I would not be surprised if Muerra dies, but if it doesn't, we can Roxanne next turn. And we still have more removal ready to go. Oh, they're just ramping. That's fine by me. No point attacking. So I imagine they put another counter on the lookout. Do we have a fight spell? We do have another Roxanne, which they do know about. If they do put a counter on the lookout, which as the only creature I imagine they do, we can attack with Roxanne, deal 2 to it, Lightning Helix. They're going to get a Deep Cavern back. Oh, they got a land. We will do red. Well, I'm going to do this. don't need to do that. We're back up to 26. They're at 18. And we have a lot of mana. Is this the Vraska deck? It must be. Well, let's spin it to win it. Have they got Vraska in hand? They do. So that's game over, which is a real shame. Yeah. We never draw any joins up. And we don't have Destroy Evil in the deck. Get Lost, sorry, not Destroy Evil. And yeah, because of that we were just a smidge too slow. We have a okay hand, obviously heavy removal. The most they can get them out might call up is the 3, so we can still take it out with. We could have still taken it out with Torture, Lightning Helix, but now obviously Torture Tower will be good enough. Obviously, we need some more lands. And a Brotherhood's End would be nice. Oh, that doesn't do it, unfortunately. We'll get a mountain. Well, we've used up all our removal. We've not drawn any more lands. They have a 3/3 still. Well, at least we can take out the war leader, but we are at 8. If we draw another land, we might be able to stabilise with Roxanne, but it's unlikely. We're going to have to take out their 3-3. There's no stick. I'm going to play out the Muerra and then swing in, take out both of their creatures. Deal 6. Well, deal 4 and then 6. If Muerra's still on the battlefield, we can, yeah, we could have attacked with Dragonhawk, see what we exiled, played the Annie joins up just to get that life gain trigger. We would have gained 6 life. And then obviously we had loads of mana with Roxanne's Meteorites. We're on the play with a pretty good hand. We've got some removal and then turn 3 Muerra, hopefully into a turn 4 Roxanne. If we draw the land, obviously all our lands are pain lands, which is not ideal, but hopefully we'll draw some more unpain lands. There's an unpain land, and so is that. We still do have Torch the Tower available. Froggy deck, I can get a lot of value from Pond Profit by bouncing it. And we still have Get Lost available. But we can Muerra. Then next turn we can Roxanne, maybe take out something else. Yeah, 3 cards of 1 Pond Profit. Put red, I think it really matters. We gain 3 as well. Now we're just hoping to draw more of our legends. We can Get Lost one of those. What we can do, Get Lost one. Torch the Tower one. And then get in for 6. And take out the final 3-tree scribe with Meteorite. And next turn we have a Restless Ridgeline we can activate. Which is good, because we don't have a huge amount of anything else we can do. That's a pretty good blocker for our deck. But see, we can take it out with the Annie joins up. It's a very good draw. And then, yeah, we might still even be able to activate the Ridgeline and get in for... So that takes... Yeah, we could have activated the Ridgeline, got in for 4, 6, 9. That gives something +2 to 11, and then yeah, we hit them for another 2 with our meteorite. So we would have had lethal. So that's why they scooped. On the draw, but with an Annie joins up is good removal, and then obviously it doubles up Muerra and Italy. Just interesting to see what kind of deck we're up against. It could be too slow since we also don't have the land for it. Could be up against lizards. Oh, I'm gonna crack the Fable Passage. And get a mountain. Still missing that 4th land. And I'm fairly sure this is not going to survive. Obviously, if it does, we don't need that 4th land. But I don't know what they're doing if they haven't, you know, they've not paid anything. If they haven't got removal, Crawl Claw. Let's do green. And obviously, we do have 2 more of those. And Brotherhood's End as well. But next turn we can Dragonhawk. But obviously he might have a way to give it haste. Although not cast it, and I don't think a way to give it haste with just 2 mana. They would need 3 for Bitter Reunion. They haven't got any of the lands. Yeah, I think we Roxanne. Gain 6. Take out their Harvester. Hit him for 2. Obviously, next turn we can Italy, assuming everything survives. They hit a Crawl Claw. Well, let us Italy. Obviously, Carnosaur's not legendary, so that is. Yeah, so we hit the Carnosaur down to 4. We get the Baser triggers, which I don't know if it is actually. We would have got some treasure because they had more lands than us, but that's the only one we would have got. But then we could attack with Roxanne, got 2 more triggers, kill the Carnosaur, hit them for 2, really. Then we would have actually 2 blockers back to block the Crawl Claw. So a pretty good showing of the deck there. And we had more Annie joins up if we needed to take out some bigger things. But I don't know how much removal they had if they had any, but they, not taking out Muerra, I think was a big issue for them. the draw with we have removal, and obviously Annie joins up is one of the cards we're specifically looking for. Let's see what we're up against. I'll fetch a mountain with a Fable Passage. So next turn we can play Fortune, start scrying, and then we can Annie joins up, and then if we hit that 5th land we can Dragonhawk with double the triggers. We're up against Golgari. Surprised haven't seen a discard. So this is, I think, might be Muerra. Let's see what we have. We do need another land, and Natalia's an okay keeper as well. There's Nissa. We can obviously take out with Annie joins up. They take out a Fortune, which is alright, all things considered. So next turn we can Dragonhawk and get double the triggers. They have another Nissa. We could Brotherhood's End. Let's get this going. They only have a single green. Well, so they might have removal now. So the idea of Pitiless Carnage is they can float all their mana, sack all their land, draw, and then get it back with Aftermath, Analyst, or Muerra. Seems to be what they're doing now. But they only have 4 mana. Muerra costs 6. They can't... Okay, maybe they do have enough for Muerra. Oh, and they can sack Aftermath Analyst straight away. It does come into play tapped, but they do obviously get to generate a lot of mana from Nissa. There's Muerra. And they get back. I think there's only 1 land. Muerra does have reach, but we can get lost it. And then let's swing in. We see another get lost and an island and a plane, sorry. And I think I will just play out both of these. With a land, next turn we can Italy. They do have a lot of mana as well. Question is, do they have another Muerra? They may have just checked out. The issue with the Lumra deck is, you know, if they remove your Lumra, it has no protection. He doesn't have haste. They do have another Nissa, which we can kill with Brotherhood's End. Obviously, we would like to hit a land, so depending on what they do, we'll just attack with Dragonhawk. If we don't draw a land, that is. Obviously, could sacrifice. Annie joins up. There's another Aftermath Analyst. So they can't play just yet. That does put Nissa out of range of Brotherhood's End, but we could Brotherhood's End and then Torch the Tower it. And that's their main win condition, is the Vine Lash. Well, I think we just wipe their board, basically. Let's attack. Roxanne, 2 Roxannes, so no lands, so they're down to 2. So they need a killers this turn, basically. They have 1 land in... Well, only the killers, taking out the Dragonhawk. Because we exiled 2 Roxannes, that's not ideal. They've only got 2 lands in the graveyard. Obviously, Aftermath Analyst could mill more. Same with... Obviously, a Roxanne just does it. We only have 2 left in our deck. We should probably play that before they played Lumra. Well, that lets us cast a tally and double up the triggers. And that allows us to get lethal. But we had another Atali trigger ready to go as well. On the play, with an okay hand, we can Muerra. Maybe in the Baza, we'd need to find a Plains with the Fabled Passage. But we can Ridgeline turn 1. For our opponent's turn up. And obviously if we turn 3 Muerra and hit the right land, which we do have now, we can Dragonhawk. Or 4 power is going to be hard for red to deal with unless they shock twice. Or just do that. we will fetch a plains. And we can Baser, we'll get a card out of it. And there's another Muerra. So you hit the land, we can Dragonhawk. Well, let's see if they block. So we can Lightning Helix to Cindermore or just Brotherhood's end it. Do I have another? I don't think that's the right line, but I'm okay with it. So we have 5. I think I just Roxanne then. Obviously we don't gain any life. But we can always Lightning Helix. Or let's just a tally. Lightning Helix there, Cindermore, and probably should have done those the other way round. So at least we would have gained some life, but we're in a pretty good position. Yeah, we had 13 and they could have blocked 4 of it, I think. So we just had lethal on board, and obviously we had a couple of Lightning Helix just to go face if we needed to.